Okay. So I'm going to start by just opening Llama. The way I did this is I just declared Llama as an environment variable. You can look at it. It's relatively trivial. You can ask ChatGPT how to do it. I also downloaded the Capybara Mistral model from Hugging Face. Okay. So this is actually, we will be running on that model. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make it larger first, and I'm going to just type hello. And actually, I'm going to turn on my Wi-Fi now. Okay. I'm going to turn off my Wi-Fi, and I'm going to type hello. So if you can see, this is all running in my local computer. There is no Wi-Fi, no server access here. Everything is your computer alone. Yeah, so this is why this system, one of the reasons this system exists, and I'm making this video. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start saving with a conversation that I feel or find that that matters or me. I'm going to create a new folder in my desktop. I'm going to call it private. It's private. Yeah. And now in this private folder, I am going to start a per conversation. And my conversation is going to be about quantum mechanics and information. Let's just write quantum mechanics and information theory, and info theory. Okay. Now we're going to go through a one-time onboarding process. You're going to write your name here as a main avatar. And their secondary avatar is usually AIs, right? In this case, I'm using a Mistral model, so I'll just type Mistral. Of course, we have like a full avatar system, right? As I mentioned in all my other videos, there's a main one and then secondary ones. We can create new avatar space for avatar new. It's a secondary avatar. Just by default, yes. Choose name. We're just going to choose GPT-5 in case we also do that. Skip emoji. Yes, skip it. Right. And you probably noticed that Mistral does not default to a robot. If you want to change the emojis, you can do that too very easily. For avatar new. Yes. Rename. Choose the same name, Mistral, right? Skip the emoji, in this case, no. Just write robot or bot. Yes. And now, now they're all secondary avatars are robots. Okay. But now what we have, if we type for combo, is the list of all the conversations, right? Right now we just have that one we created, this quantum mechanics and information there. But what we're going to do is we're going to type here, as Chrome, teach me about quantum mechanics and information theory. I'm also going to tell a prompt the chat to use questions. It's AI agent. Yeah. And now I'm going to type my first message to save will be that prompt. Teach me about quantum mechanics and information theory, use questions. So I just type for dot. I don't need to write my name or my avatar, because if you don't write the avatar assumes that you're using the main one. Okay. You just type for dot followed by open quotes, message, close quotes. That's it. Right. So if we type for 3, we see that the first, it, like I said, defaults to the main avatar. And then you have your prompt here saved, right? I also want to look at it in for combo. It also will tell me how many messages I'm holding there. And right now it's just at 1. It's changed from 0 to 1 because I just added the prompt, right? And now what you can see also, while this system is still going, if I type if I type, if I look at my folder, there's nothing apparently, because, the folder it's a .fur folder, and .fur folders are invisible. So I'll just open this in Visual Studio Code. Yeah. And you'll see here that we have a secret folder called .fur. And .fur is basically the brain for the conversation control we're doing. Okay. This is actually all the logic of how conversations are stored and messages, and how to compile everything to support Markdown data. Okay. So if you ever want to version control this, you just type git init, right? And you will need to version control this .fur directory. Okay. But for now, what we're going to do is we are going to clear this again for 3. And we're gonna copy paste the response from Mistral. And then for short form is for Jot. For long form is for chat. We're going to type for chat, and we're referring this to a secondary avatar. We type the name of secondary avatar. So per chat Mistral and total. And then after we have copied that, we paste it here. Ctrl-Shift-P, and then Ctrl-D for Linux or Ctrl-Zeta for Windows. Finish writing, continue, yes, to save as that default markdown document. And now if you type 3 again, you'll see that we have recorded yes my prompt and long form chat saved as markdown document. Okay, I can tell it, given all this, I'll just say give me equations in k-text form. Next, give me another interesting equation. Okay. So you can see k-text actually allows for a nicer rendering on Markdown. That's why I asked it this. And that's going to be our second chat, right? Our second chat that we save, long form chat. So what we're going to do is we're going to type for Jot again. And then that would be the prompt that I just gave it. Now, we type for 3. We see the full record of what is being saved. For combo also tells us that in the messages column, it's 3 so far. After this, it will be 4, obviously. Right? We can create also different conversation threads. Just type per new and create one that is called my friends. I think and when you create a new thread, right, it basically stages to that thread. So we want to go back to the former thread which we've been working on. Just type for combo followed by the leading unique characters of the hash ID. The hash ID is this one you see here, right? In this case, the leading character that is unique is actually just F, but I could just type F2 and it will still take me to that one. Okay. And we can continue the conversation and we can just copy paste the last message and then type per chat Mistral again. V, Ctrl-Shift to the we finish writing, continue, enter, done. Alright, so we type for 3. Now we have a longer conversation. And now we can also, if we want, we can print it for printed. It will just export this full thing, which is a collection of markdown documents and short form messages, as a markdown file. For printed will give us this document, which is actually sitting in our folder, inside our private folder. And I can see the nicer preview, markdown preview here with that button. And you can see now we have like everything here, say a collection of 2 markdown documents here. We can see that at first, right, it wasn't giving us the equations in k-text 1 because it didn't specify. And then in the second conversation, in the second prompt, I told it to give me the equations in k-text form, right? And so you can see now that they are nicely written there in that format. Like that. And that's great, right? Because now we have 2 conversations, we can save them. And like I said, the only thing you need to save here, are just the .fir folder and the chats folder. The chats folder it contains the markdown files of all your long form chats, usually generated from AI, right? We can go also back to our my friends conversation, which is currently empty. Right, you're typing for combo fee. Now we're in there. And we typed 3. The 3 is empty because we haven't started saving anything about in that thread. And we can ask it some questions about my friends, right? You can say, how do I make more friends? Let's ask it that. Okay. And there's no shame because, there's never any shame in asking it that, right? But, like I said, this is a private chat. There's no telemetry, no contact, no servers. Even if you are like a little paranoid about asking it questions like, how do I make more friends? Everything is in your computer. without any connections to the internet, right? So what we're going to do here is I'm going to copy this for jot. Now I'm going to copy that prompt. How do I make them more friends? Type for 3. Now I only have sitting one prompt, one message, right? If I type per combo, I'll see that now it's also being tracked there in the column of my conversations table. Okay. And so it's writing quite a long message, quite a long response, 9 points. Okay. It's done finally. What I do is I repeat that process. It becomes automatic after some time, and not after a long time, right? So just type for chat Mistral. As should be, so be or say that, enter done. For 3. Now I have 2 messages. If I type for combo, right, also, I see that 2 messages are there as well. It gives us the size of the full conversation is just 3 kilobytes. That's nothing, right? The size of the older conversation is 7 kilobytes. And total memory for like saving your conversations and your chats and everything is just 10 kilobytes, right? Just so you know, the memory of a photo, of a regular photo that you have, or even like a small image, it's usually like 500 megabytes, 500 kilobytes. A photograph can be anywhere from 1 megabytes to like hundreds of megabytes, right? Okay. So yeah, for combo, what do we do now? What haven't I showed you? Oh yeah, we can rename the title of our conversations if we suddenly started becoming something else, right? So we can go for combo, followed by the leading unique characters of the ID, then followed by rename. We can change it to relationships, maybe. And now that conversation has been renamed to relationships from my friends. We can print it. You can print relationships. We can go. Oops, sorry, he was getting confused. We can look at it now, right? You remember we exported a Markdown document for quantum mechanics, and we can also do that one for relationships. We can go back to our quantum mechanics conversation. We can also print it, and we can even keep, if we want, all our exported conversations there, and we can update it in real time later on, right? For quantum mechanics and information theory, everything is there. Once again, like I said, the only things you need to version control are just those folders, not even like the outputs, the conversation, the exported conversations. The only things you need to like version control is for and chats, right? It can be for add or get out, same thing. Get status is just saving. You just need to version control for and chats. That's it. And you can see that, interestingly enough, right, in your chats folder, we have a combination of Markdown documents that without like any subdirectory, any hierarchies, everything is actually in the same chats folder. A combination of, the relationship with the device and quantum mechanics. The reason is that, well, obviously, as I mentioned, the fur registry is the brain for it. So it just controls how everything is saved, all the metadata, everything. Okay. Of course, we can go farther, and this also allows for clones, for forks, right? And if we want to fork our conversation with quantum mechanics and info theory, we just type for clone, and it automatically creates a clone or a fork, or whatever you want to call it, of it. And then we can continue that as a separate branch of the conversation, add different messages there, right? So you could even also add a tag for this one for combo, or just the leading characters, right? And any tag. You just mention it as clone of that hash, which is the root, right? The other conversation, and it's there as a tag. All of that is metadata. All of that is saved in, guess what? Like I mentioned, the .fur and chats information, right? You're just saving that. It's fur out or get out, same thing. That is all you need to version control. Okay. If you want version control, of course. If you don't, the only things you need to put in your USB, if you want to be extra safe, right, privacy, is just the .fur folder and the chats folder. These are generated files. These can be generated just from that information and your usage of the tool. Okay. And of course, in clone of quantum mechanics, we can just type more information. The conversation continues, right? And we see that now that clone, we can rename the clone if we want. But you get the point. QM continued maybe. Right? And yeah, if we print that QM continued, it will be definitely different than the root, because it's a fork of it, right? So we have two different versions being tracked here, even though they have like common chats, right? There's just that. Okay. So it is even like an efficient tool in that sense as well. You can see the difference in words because we added more words on, like for the fork, obviously here's 884, here's 878. All right, but I wouldn't want to make my video too long. I think that this would be a good place to stop. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you found it useful. I'm going to turn on my internet now to upload the video.